Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So the turn times, the stream times are ever varying today. Just in general. I have been fairly busy today. I've spent a lot of time actually trying to figure out when I'm going to be living for university, which is a lot of fun. Because the thing is, I don't know where my bloody grades are. So I don't know which university I'll be going to. Oh man, it's a lot of fun like having to look at two different cities and thinking, well, if I live there, do I like that? I do hope you guys are doing well, do hope you're all safe, and well, of course. How you doing there, guys? So we've got AT, we've got Fenrir, we've got Braddock, and Baron, good to have you guys here. Nice to see you, of course. Right then. Let's go ahead and see then. It's going to be an interesting one. So that was the turn name that I sent to him. Actually, let me just double check I've got the right one. Did I transfer over the save? Let me double check. I might not have actually done that. Right, let me double check and make sure I've done that. Bam 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 ba-dum. Right, there we go. That will be on proper one. I'm going to restart the game, just make sure that there's no issues there. Oops. Sometimes it can be fun if you don't restart it. Yeah, Spearfish was amazing, right. Right, there we go. I don't know why chat's doing that. Hopefully it'll work itself out. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Why is it doing that? We'll give it a little bit of time. There we go. Shh, be very, very quiet now. He's up to something, isn't he? He's definitely up to something. And it does worry me that we haven't seen the cows for some time, but there's only so much we can actually do. Is it? Wow, why is it doing that? Yeah, YouTube likes to be helpful, doesn't it? Likes to be tremendously helpful. I think what I'll do is I'll probably turn it off in a second then. Because apparently it doesn't ever want to work. That's tremendous. Hopefully you guys will be able to bear with it for the time being. Strange. Okay, so we do have the island bear. So there will be no attack at Singapore nor Clark today. Ideally things do go well enough. How you doing there, Sean? Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, I don't know why the chat's been like that. Yeah, no, that sounds like a good deal. Okay, so we do have the AKLs. These are the ones that we detected earlier. It's good to see that we're actually engaging this time, as the I-158, I think, elected not to engage last turn. For some reason or other. Right, I-157 over here, so we do find more of those ships. That's good news, at least we can find more over here. Second torpedo in here. Okay. Well, they are making progress, but I think they've got to be probably low on endurance, if not out of endurance, really. So one goes down there. I mean, they're out of endurance, they can move in one hex at a time. Wasn't the Sinabag... No, it sounded like 1 second there, so I don't know if that was the one that we engaged previously. I forgot what the bloody name was now, actually. Should have been paying more attention to the name. How you doing there, Big Sarge? Good to have you, my friend. I do wonder when the Exodus is going to come from Singapore. He does have shipping there at Singapore. He also does have a lot of shipping still in Manila. I do wonder when that mass Exodus is going to come. He's probably going to be looking for a point at which you can actually force them all through there. Sounds like something else has just sank there, which is interesting. I do worry about the MKB. He did have detection... Well, I mean, this is it. He would have seemed likely B5N2 Kate detected submarine. Ideally, that would have been just reported as torpedo bomber, because then that could have been chalked at potentially the G3s or G4s going out to Palembang. But I don't think it probably will. I think it'll probably be on to us. So we're going to hope for the best. We've made it through the night phase, so that's good news. At least we have been intercepted there. So we'll see how things go. So we do see the Bs. B1 there? B1 motor launch. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Right, okay, so it did send out the submarine there. Okay. How you doing there, Alexander? Good to have you, my friend. So we do see some assets out of Allied reconnaissance near San Francisco. We did see something on the Australian coast there, actually. How much of a loss is that really at this point? Are you talking about the MKB? Well, it's not a loss. I mean, it's still capable. I mean, obviously it's been reduced, but it's still capable. I mean, he can call that a tactical victory, but it's still not a complete victory. Obviously, because we still have the carrier, as long as we maintain that, at least I still have the, well, there's that Spectre flexibility available to us in the Indian Ocean, which is still worthwhile. Okay, moving into airstrikes. That's one of these things, it wouldn't really... Right, so we do see some ships actually leaving or potentially approaching Wake, which is interesting. How you doing there, Gary? 11 missed torpedoes. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so we are bombing the airfield today with the Sallies. How you doing there, Brez? Good to have you, my friend. But no, regarding the MKB, I mean, it's one of these things of where if I lost it entirely, that would suck. But I mean, this is it. It's one of these things where it's not like a critical loss. It's definitely a loss, but it's not so much like a war changing loss as such. It does make a difference, but it's harder to say, oh well, we're not going to be able to do this. We can do a lot in the Dutch East Indies and this sort of area, obviously in Burma and Rangoon. Because we do have ground bases. In the Pacific, it would be a very different situation. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that, Rez. I don't know why. I'm going to turn it off after the replay. YouTube chat function, or whatever, OBS's chat function is just being weird again. So I'm going to turn that off after the replay. At least people won't ever miss what was said last. Okay, moving into the PM here. Fairly quiet so far. Right. So we do see apparently submarines. Apparently CV being reported there at Brisbane is very interesting. Huh. Now if that's actually in any way accurate, that could be really quite critical information there. Yeah, YouTube channel must be like Spearfish. Oh, that was amazing. That was a hoot to watch that. Right. So we're sweeping over here to Sonabaya. We're not sweeping at Batavia today. Oh, we don't even engage there. Must have been too much of a difference there in... No, we were at 31,000 feet. They were... I think they were at a similar altitude as well. That's interesting, man. Interesting that we didn't actually get the Warhawk there. Okay. Yeah, that Warhawk... Interesting there, really. I would have preferred to have shot it down. But I'll take a few hits on the runway, I guess. Nothing too amazing, but... oh well, it is what it is. Right, so we have some more Sallies coming in here. Hitting the runway once again. Okay. Speed this up. Right, so we have some 139s coming in here. I do like how we have the flag. Unfortunately, it's not it's not effective enough to really prevent them from coming in here. Okay, unfortunately we don't shoot them down. You can see the 139 numbers have been pretty drastically reduced, really. Okay. So we've made it through both AM and PM phase. Interesting that we didn't see the KI-48s fly, so it looks like we've had poor weather. And so I'm pretty glad that we did actually have it set to bomb Singapore's airfield from multiple positions, really. Right, so we do have a shock attack here of them with the 3 divisions against the 8th new Chinese Corps. I mean, this I need to really reorganize, but I'm probably thinking over it, really. Does it keep repeating? I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what. Let me just tab out here quickly. This is a good time to do it, actually. I'm going to turn the chat box off for now until it's learned to behave itself. It's a shame. Okay. So, 79 casualties there. 1,526. So we do destroy the unit, which is nice. I like being able to actually destroy these units outright, rather than having to chase them. So we do have the bombardment over here. A group army over here would be nice. We could actually try and force a group army to surrender. That would be handy. So we'll have the bombardment over here at Clark. Again, things seem to be static over here, but I need to really keep a close eye on this. It looks the same as I think it was. So we do actually have... Yes, so we now have the 2nd RF, we have the 5th RF, we have the mountain guns as well, which I think would be the 10th and the 20th independent mountain guns. So a little bit more artillery, which is good news. Yeah, it's a good deal of artillery. We do have quite a decent amount here. It is having actual measurable impacts as well, which is nice. Okay. So we suffer 7 casualties, 1 destroyed, 10 disabled, 1 there. We have 28 casualties on the allied side, so 5 squads disabled. It's okay, I guess. So if we take a look over here then, we're up to 1950, he's at 774, 467 guns. Obviously we're not using the entire guns, we have more guns in the actual artillery divisions, sorry, in the actual divisions. Yeah, I mean, this is it, I'm contemplating actually awaiting having true bomber capability in Luzon. Right, so we do have the deliberate attack over here at Kuala Lumpur with the 2 tank regiments, ideally enough to force them to surrender. That would be nice. 59, 29. So it doesn't go today, but that's fine. 81 casualties there. Okay. Yeah, we don't suffer any casualties. It just looks like we need a little bit more AV just to get the actual ratio there up a little bit more. But I do have some forces that can march south just to make sure that we definitely do end those. Right, so we do have the deliberate attack over here at Lahat. I should be landing over here, so we'll be taking these bases shortly. Which should be good. Okay, so we capture Lahat, which is good because we can finally begin moving on towards Benkolin, which is good news. Hey, doing that on CB? It's been pretty good so far, pretty quiet, really. Right, deliberate attack over here. I mean, I'd like to finish this over here, and then I could actually get them marching back down to the rest of their division. Okay, 14 casualties there. I'm surprised that they just haven't surrendered, really. I probably just want more assault value there, really. So we do have the shock attacks over here, so I did actually choose to land paratroopers over here as well. I chose to actually pick up the paratroopers over here. The reason being I looked to the Allied turn 1, and there is a unit here, as we can see now through reconnaissance. So I think that was a worthwhile thing to do. What I'm going to do is then pick these paratroopers back up. But what I wanted really to have is like a port where I could potentially call in there, you know what I mean, like potentially disband in there. It wouldn't really solve anything because these ports are too small to protect us, but at least we have somewhere that we could go to if we so wish to choose so, which is nice. It also means that we can try to reduce the amount of bases he may be able to use as search bases. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it reduces it somewhat. They're free bases, we'd have to take them at some point in the future anyhow. Well, right, Sinkwang's level 4, which is good news. We did have the suggestion of an American carrier, of a quote-unquote carrier at Brisbane. So that's going to be very interesting. And I mean, if we actually do get some reliable intelligence as to the whereabouts of his actual carrier, then that's going to make things a lot easier. It's going to really, really allow us to do a lot more than we've been previously doing, because we'll have some information, we'll be like, able to say, right, okay, this is what we need to do. So you got to imagine, it's like we've had the Kid of a Die moving around for quite some time, really, just in the anticipation that he could arrive at any time. Well, he might have just been in Port of Brisbane. If we'd have known he was in Port of Brisbane, then we could have potentially been in Port of Truck. But this is it. It's a difficult one to try and keep tabs on forces such as that. But there we go. So that was actually a pretty quiet turn. But I do not mind the quiet turns. The quiet turns give us the time to try and get to what we want. So we've seen the APD, CL, DD, APD. It was interesting. It's supposedly, I'm sure it read down here, CV. It's a large, I mean, it's a concentration of forces, which is interesting, but I don't know. But that seems like a suspect location. We can continue to try and patrol in this area. Obviously, I'm going to have to, well, luckily the submarine's actually unspotted, which is good news. I mean, I probably want to have them pull a little bit further away from the coast there. But at least that's some information I can work with, which is nice. Tulagi didn't counter-attack, which is good news. Right, so Kidabata is undetected, which is good. So this seems to be a decent spot from which I can actually try and remain on station. We didn't see any attacks. This force did make it out of here, which is good news. I mean, yes, there's still the support assets over here, but at least we've actually managed to get in the Naval Guard unit. The majority of it. I can fly the rest of it out here to LeACHACiD via transportation aircraft. But the good news is LeACHACiD has enough support, enough garrison to actually hold it. He'd have to bring a pretty substantial force to actually take LeACHACiD, and I do not think he has that. In that sensible assault value, I just don't think he has that. We can see over here as well, we have these forces marching in. Indeed, I shall do that, Anno. But you know what I'm going to do first, Anno? I'm in fact going to save the game. Because otherwise, I will make some bloody mistake and then come to regret it. Which usually happens. That's usually what goes on there. Okay. Rightio. Okay. So we'll go ahead and take a losses this turn then. There wasn't that much air activity this turn, and I think that was probably due to weather, really. So K-15, he loses the HH-1 apparently to Ops, which is nice. But yeah, you take a look at that, there was actually quite a turn in terms of like actual air. I mean, one loss on either side there. Both of them operational losses. So we did have an engagement with a P-40, but just didn't seem to want to engage there, really. If you take a look at ships sunk. So, yeah, some 1 victory point level, some 1 victory point value ships there, but it's still worthwhile taking them out. They're around here somewhere, so I can continue to move down this way. It looks like he might be heading to Geraldton, perhaps. Well, ultimately, he'll be headed towards Perth, I'd imagine. We'll just keep on following until we can try and finish them off, really. Right, we did engage over here as well. Issue is I just don't have any naval search out here, but we know they're roughly in this area, so we'll keep on following. We know where he's headed, which appears to be Colombo. I mean, this is it. The longer he spends out here, and it looks like he's out of endurance, so he might just end up losing those ships anyway, especially if we keep hounding them. Okay, but very quiet turn. Very, very quiet turn. So we still see the 65 fighters over here now. It was reported as 68 last turn. I'm not getting very good reconnaissance over Rangoon lately. Why is that? I need to get some reconnaissance over there. It's not even bad weather over there. But I did buy out a squadron over here from China. So I do have a squadron which I can actually move around, which is good. So you can see that can be broken up into 3 parts. Each of them having reserves, which is excellent. So we'll be able to get them moved into Indochina, and then I can actually start to get some more reconnaissance out here. And try and build up a more reliable picture of what's going on, really. Which is going to be absolutely required. We do have enough resources over here, so... Sorry, resources. Enough supplies over here, so we require 1953, we have 1994 resources. God, I've just done it again. Supplies. I don't know why I'm saying resources. I'm going back in time here. Still needed, my lord. Oh, dear. Okay. And this is it. I could likely attack over here, SunYan. I'm not too sure if I want to do that as of yet. I think what I'd like to do is be able to be in a position to push across the, across here, really. I mean, this is it. This hex is just very, very important. Very important there. To secure, really. I can go ahead and actually move the AIO over here to Chiang Mai. Which we'll do. Okay. Make sure this doesn't have a garrison requirement, because that'll be a pain in the ass. Right. Construction units are moving north to Chiang Mai. It's going to take some time for them to arrive, of course. We have the garrison requirements over here, which is good. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty quiet turn, which I don't particularly mind. And we'll take a look at our forces over here then. Ideally, we've burnt off a decent amount of fatigue construction. Well, we're down to 25, 22, 20, 7, 6, 6. I think we were at, what, previously 11 or something of that nature. So we have burnt some off here. We're up to 853 assault value now. Okay. Right. So we do have the 21st Independent Mixed Brigade here. They're 9 miles into that march. They'll march 30 potentially next turn. So it's going to take them... They will arrive on the 8th of January then. He might be... To be honest, what we might do then is we might have another day's rest and then actually attack for the 8th of January. And then at least we'd have the Mixed Brigade come over and join us as well for that attack. I mean, I could probably attack with that. I'm pretty sure we could attack with that. But it might just be worthwhile waiting one more day. Well, sorry, 2 more days. Wait 1 more day, have a full day's rest tomorrow as well. And then we can click to attack. We could then set this force over here, then we could have the Mixed Brigade in combat mode. So when they did cross over, they'd actually be in combat mode, and then they'd actually aid in the attack. Which would give us another 125 survive, which is not that much, kinda, when you compare it to like, the size of the divisions. But it's still additional AV, which is still good. This is it. It's like this should have been part of the 4th Division, but it's here, so c'est la vie. If I take a look at the actual damage, so we do have 36 airfield damage over here at Singapore, so he's not going to be fortifying again. He might have level 1 fortifications, potentially. I don't think he'll have level 2. Ideally, he doesn't have level 2, but there's a lot of engineers there. But I don't think he'll do it that quickly. But the good news is now we're finally marching towards Benkelin. So this is it. This is where things start to actually improve. We're undetected here, which is good news. That's nice. In the THG game, you pushed really hard for Caledonia. Was it not worth it? Well, it is worthwhile to have New Caledonia. It's just a case of, well, the situation's different, really. And this is it. It's like, what you've got to remember there, OCB, is the fact that in the THG game, we didn't have a aggressive allied opponent, especially when it came to the actual carriers. I mean, it seems like there's a good chance that Dadman's carriers could still be down here at Brisbane. There seems to be a suggestion that they might be, or at least there's a concentration down here in Brisbane. So it's a difficult one. And it's one of these circumstances where I'm not comfortable moving in until we're really secure, to be honest. We do have a toehold down here in the BLeAcHACiD Islands. So at least that gives me something to work with potentially in the future. But we'll see. We'll see, really. I do need to get more supply down here. That's actually been diminished somewhat. I think... Okay, so they've still unloaded fuel. Yes. I wonder if it's because they've been rearming. No, maybe not. What was it last time? I can't recall what it was last time, actually. I do have some supply aboard the Jingay, but I'd rather not use that. And what we can tell them to do is stop expanding the airfield. Well, actually, no, I need to continue to expand that airfield. I do need to get more supply in here. I think I had something in mind for that, actually. Well, that's heading down there to Rabaul. I might have that potentially moved to Tulagi. I'd rather use something a little less risky. Well, to be honest, let's see. No, you're absolutely right there to ask, OCB. You're absolutely right to ask. Okay. What I could potentially do is I could use fast transports to move supply in there, perhaps. That's always a possibility. And the oilers have arrived back at home, which is good news. Yeah, so there we go. Which I'm really happy about. Obviously, they run great risk. Genyo Maru has a ride back home, which is good news as well. She was very, very valuable. I mean, 28 points. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's pretty valuable. What she represents as well. I mean, that's the thing. So I do have 5k fuel over here. Yeah, I mean, what we need to do is we need to get some supply down to these islands. The situation is improving due to the fact that we are slowly building up our capabilities in this area. But it's going to take some time before they're really competent, per se. But we'll get in there. But I will need more supply down here at Rabaul. I could probably get some supply to Lagi, but it's one of those where it's risky. It is obviously... There's a larger risk to moving it to Tulagi than there is to moving to Rabaul. But there's always a risk. There's always a risk. So it's just one of these of trying to actually balance it out there, really. Well, this is it. Anybody have any questions? I mean, this is it. I'm surprised that not that much has actually happened. I mean, there's obviously going to be things going on in the background. He's going to be up to something. I can't imagine he wouldn't be. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at Wake. So we do see the DMSs over here, 4 ships, which is interesting. Apparently there's only one ship over here, sorry, one unit over here at Wake Island. Severe storms over here then. That's an intriguing one. That is an intriguing one. I think when we do approach Wake, it would probably be best to actually have DMSs ourselves, really. I mean, the other alternative might be, well, you just throw a PB into the actual waters and see if it blows up, really. But we have arrived over here, which is good news. Are we detected? We're not detected, which is interesting. We do have a spot of good luck with the extreme overcast. The interesting thing is, there was aircraft reported last turn, but then I don't have accurate information of it Wake at this moment in time. Right, I brought you over here to unload, which is fine. Well, if he landed in Tokyo, it'd do us a favour, really. He has no any of the forces available to take. Well, he'd have no chance, really. I actually moved a lot of our forces. I mean, there's 1293 assault value over here in Tokyo. I took these infantry groups that were around the countryside and just concentrated them in Tokyo. Oh, yeah, I mean, that'd be quite a good thing. I mean, it's like Japan is... It's not toothless. I'll put it that way, it's not toothless. It's like, for example, over here we have, let's see... there's 151 Vita variant aircraft there. They're not particularly amazing torpedo bombers, but there's still plenty of them. We have 437 ready aircraft there, total of 439. Obviously varying aircraft types, but it's still quite a few. Oh no, I get what you mean. Let's see, some kind of 15s over there. Yep, aircraft here. Some over here to the north. Some over here in Nagasaki. Good chunk over here at Fusan. Oh, there used to be a good chunk at Fusan, actually. Well, this is it. I suppose it's an interesting one. He knows the game. He knows what to expect. He's gonna have an idea of what we're gonna be doing, really. He might be just simply waiting for us to make the move, really. Which I wouldn't put past him. He doesn't have to be offensively minded as such now. He can kind of pick and choose the battles. He knows the objectives that we're going to have to try and take. So if it was me, I think I'd be looking out here from Los Angeles, which is interesting. Spotted. Yeah. That's not too surprising. He probably might have some PPYs out there. So we do have some signal intelligence over Pearl. Let's take a look. Canton Island, Seattle, Pearl Harbor, Colombo. I mean, that could be Hermes, perhaps. Yeah, Canton Island's an interesting one, because it's a decent-sized base there. That size 2 port, size 2 airfield's not too bad at all. Okay. So we do have a 9th Infantry Regiment moving back, well, moving towards Monado. We do have our forces still loaded over here. They're loaded supplies. There's a lot of supplies over here. Obviously, I had quite a lot pushed there. So we'll be bringing that with us. Right, we'll have you... I should have told them to actually keep that loaded. I forgot about that. But I can change that, so go ahead. Tell them to actually load them back up. Now it's going to be funny. Okay, that's annoying. Continue to unload then. That's annoying. Okay. Yeah, instead of just a load of supplies at this moment in time, how many supplies are aboard here then? So, 25,000 supply. 25,000 tons of supply there. There's another 12, just shy of 13,000 supply there. It would be good to bring supply. Well, then again, I was about to say be good to bring it over here to BLeAcHACiD, but I don't need it at BLeAcHACiD, which is really nice. And that's really good. It's really awesome for us. Right, let's see then. 24 fighters. Seeing 2 fighters over here, 10 auxiliaries. He might have actually moved into the interior Java with his aircraft. But that's not too bad. I mean, this is the good news. We do have these zeros in place, so we can actually force our will upon Batavia's airspace. But if we take a look then... so they're down to 12 fatigue, 17 fatigue there. A lot of reserves there. And what I'm going to do here then is just quickly save it. I'd like to take some of those reserves out so we can have them available elsewhere. But I've noticed sometimes it doesn't actually go back into the pool. So what we'll do then is we'll just have a backup save. Yeah, like, as you can see here, now it goes into the pool. And now it doesn't. So, it's one of those where it's not really worthwhile doing. In fairness, what I could potentially do is actually just split it up. But that's fine. Are his fighters north of Rangoon, are they still there? Yes, they're still there. And we don't have information on Rangoon at this moment in time, which makes things a little bit awkward. So I don't know what's actually in Rangoon at this moment in time. Okay. Right. Yeah, there we go. So I don't imagine there's going to be anything over at these islands. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing really. But it does give us a position that I can actually just pull into if needs be. I don't see it happening, but it gives us that. I could potentially fly out. I mean, there's no... I don't think... Yes, there's no airfield here. But what we could do is we could fly out a COI, like a JNAF COI. And I could potentially have some naval search established over here. We don't really have... I mean, this is the issue. If we had more H6K4s, that'd be awesome, but we don't have them right now. But it doesn't mean that we can't establish some sort of float planes out there. Which is... yeah, it's one of those things. I don't think we'll do that, because I don't really see it being valuable. If there was like a level 1 airfield, it would be nice. But even then, we'd really prefer to have like level 2 airfields. Yeah, well, it's always a potential option, isn't it, really? Having options is always a good thing. How you doing there, Paul? Good to have you, my friend. Okay. So I started withdrawing the Yokosuka 1st SLF over here. He doesn't seem to have actually moved his forces over here, which is good news. We need to take Singapore soon. We are recovering here. It might just be worthwhile. I don't know. We could probably attack with that, but I think it might just be the right course of action to wait one more day. Wait one more day, and then order the attack afterwards. And then at least we actually do have the 21st Mixed Brigade. I almost said battalion. We'd have the 21st Mixed Brigade involved then. Yeah. I mean, this is it, really. I'd rather fight one battle than 2 battles. Or more battles. The amount of airfield damage is decent enough. I think what we need to do then is also continue to bomb Singapore's airfield. I think what I might do is actually have these Sallies in Palembang rest and actually have them available for action against Batavia. I think we do keep hitting the actual airfield, but I think I could potentially have... I mean, this is it. We were meant to have the Ki-48s actually fly over Singapore's airfield today. Well, over Singapore's airspace and actually bomb the ground forces today. But they didn't go ahead and do that due to the weather. But this is it. If I can actually bomb the ground forces and try and cause some problems for them. But this is it. It's a large base. It's well supplied. It's got very large facilities. I mean, this is a thing. It's got a port capacity of 9 there. It's got an air capacity of 6. It's a big base. It's a very big base. Very well stocked. It doesn't go down easy. I've just got the light industry there, so any resources he has in Singapore should continue to be produced. Yeah, which is just nasty. The light industry should use these. Yes, the light industry, I believe, continues to operate if there's resources there. Okay. So we do have our fuel return over here. So this will be potentially the second successful run over here towards Camaran Bay, which is good. So what we'll be then doing is looking towards getting a third out there. And this is it. It's not exactly ideal because obviously I should have this. I mean, we'll have to take a look for a convoy system back to Japan. I do wonder where it's actually piling up, to be honest. So it's 14k over here. It looks like it might be flown to Saigon, perhaps. Possibly to Saigon. Okay. But as long as it's in Indochina, at least I can actually... Well, I have access to it. When it's in Borneo, we do technically own it, but then it's a case of actually getting across the South China Sea into something a little bit more appropriate, really. Right, so we're on our way to Tarakan. So we are spotted here. Do I have any detection on Tarakan? No, unfortunately. You've been trying to get that detection there. Yes. He looks like he might be flying out from Tarakan. He could be flying out from the Philippines in general, but it looks like he might be using Tarakan as well, perhaps. Though it depends. It's hard to tell sometimes. I've seen detection over here as well. Okay. Right, that's still loading. That's fine. I can get some aviation down there. We can then move the Dinas over here to Naga. Though I might want to bring that aviation into... To be honest, it probably would be worthwhile. I could always move a Koi over here at a later date, but I think it's not... It's probably not worthwhile to move them from here to here. Yes, it does cover the Philippines quite nicely, but I think I probably need more aviation support over here, really. Especially as we will be moving Sally's back into this area. And that would be worthwhile. So there's quite a few over here that needs to be repaired and shifted as well. Right, so San Fernando is a size 3. Size 1 here at Lingayen. Size 2 over here at Vigan. And so I need more aviation support at San Fernando. Yeah, we might as well go for San Fernando. It would be nice to have it there in the centre, but it's not really required, really. Yeah, it's more of a bonus. So second tank regiment over here, then. You can see that they are burning off some of this disruption and fatigue, but it still takes a while. Due to the actual zone and just not having lots and lots of support on hand, or a lot of like supply or a headquarters or a big base. It takes time. New question, is it possible to build roads in this game? Unfortunately not. But I suppose that's a good thing, because I imagine things could get kind of crazy. It would be interesting, though, I'd agree. Right. Okay. So the additional forces are still moving here. He seems to be really static in China, which I can't blame him for, really. He doesn't really have much he needs to do, there's just not that much of a reason to do so. He might have moved units over here. I think these began here, but I don't know about that one. I wouldn't put it past him, though, actually putting units along these roads, as he does obviously need to defend them. But he knows how to defend China. It's going to be very tough. We're going to have to really just choose an objective and just really try and put absolutely everything into it. You can achieve much in China as Japan by focusing all of your efforts against one base. But it's slow going. I don't see there being like a major breakthrough in China. But we'll see. We haven't really truly begun the Chinese campaign, really. Still sorting out the garrison requirements. Right, now that's okay because we have the garrison unit here. So that's fine, that looks after that quite nicely. Over here, we do have obviously an abundance, but I do have a garrison unit here. But we need 320. So let's see. So these guys are in Tantung. they need to be moved down here. Try and reform all the units that we can, really. Okay. But that gives me the ability to move behind his lines over here. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but if I can try and corral him, that's it's not a bad thing, really. I would like to have a division potentially remain here, or at least a force remain here. I mean, the road is major, I think. Yeah, we do have the major roads here, so that's quite nice. Yes. I think what I might do is actually have the majority of these forces march north over here to this base, and then we could actually have them march into Luoyang. I don't really need all these guys here. And this is it. It's just so many units to have to arrange to look after. And what I'm going to have to do is actually start buying out tank and artillery units from China. There's lots of things that we could buy out from China, which is nice. Artillery, engineers, certain squadrons are nice to have as well. The armors is a good one. Eventually we'll try and buy some divisions, but what we'll do then is, as we fight in the Chinese campaign, the divisions that are the most beaten up will head back, and they'll be the ones that will be bought out first from China. And because obviously there's less units in them, they're cheaper to buy out. And this is it really. It sounds like a bit of a backward strategy, but you think, well, why would you want to buy out the weakest division? Well, this is it, because that's a cheaper division to buy out. It means your political points do go further. And the actual formation itself, it might be weakened, but it can be recovered. And that's it, isn't it, really? It's like getting a discount division. It might not be as strong, but if it's still got the actual, if it's still a division, you can work with that. You can rebuild that. God, I feel like I'm just doing a lot of waffling today. Yeah, it's been fairly quiet. We haven't got a tremendous amount to really discuss as of this moment. Okay. These guys have been completed over here. Let's see, is there any interesting reports? Right, so it does look like there's actually submarines around trucking now, it seems. Spots near submarine. I do need to see if those AKUs have actually arrived. Yes, Shadows of the Water. Okay. It's taken them longer than I would have thought it would do. We do have a new aviation unit over here, which is handy enough. So I need forces over here at Swatao Dili. Whereabouts are they? Oh, I know. Yes, okay. That's really quite annoying regarding this one. How much do I need here? 20 garrisons is really a pain in the arse. Okay. Yeah, we don't require a garrison over here to Loughton. So at least once we take Loughton, I can actually have a force remain here, and so I can actually get a more appropriate garrison force there. But at least we'll have the island to more under our control. And not completely under our control, as there are still allied forces here on Timor. But then this is it, they're going to wither away eventually. It's a shame that this isn't jungle rough, and this was jungle. But yeah, he's in a tough position there. We'll just leave him to starve. I'd prefer to have more assault value here, really. But yeah, we're building up fortifications here at this moment in time, so eventually it will be somewhat more capable. There's only 3 engineers there, those poor bloody guys. They're going to have such a big job in their hands. So we're still seeing information over here by Darwin. Okay. Yeah, I mean over here in this area is going to be very important. What I need to be able to do is I need to be able to actually have our forces able to move. I need to be able to move a ship in relatively reliably. We need to secure Gasmar, so we need to secure all these bases over here. That's going to be the interesting one to try and accomplish. Okay. The good news is at least once Wake is finished as a campaign, as a little operation, once the Wake operation is finished, we do have... We have more flexibility then, because I don't have to worry as much about Wake Island. We have adapted to the situation, which in some ways might be actually self-strengthening effort, really. I mean, using Marcus Island. Marcus is usually one of those islands I don't use, but it actually has been useful. So it might actually be something that we use more in this campaign. But I think this is Deadman the greater the number of actual potential search locations that we have, search bases we have, the better, really. We've seen that our search isn't infallible. It can fail us. It can let us down. So he has some submarines on station over here at Ambon, but that's fine. I don't really need to do anything at Ambon. Ambon's pretty good to go. It's going to be repaired slowly but surely. I mean, the airfield is pretty good now, which is excellent. We've got 36 engineers over here. So what I'll do in time is I'll take some transportation aircraft and I'll fly off the construction engineers, or the repair engineers. What are they called? Yeah, I could fly away the 4th field air. The vehicles would remain behind until I could get some actual ships, but being able to fly the engineers is still worthwhile. But this is it. I mean, the airbase is actually viable now, which is a good thing. It gives us something else to work with, and it's a big airbase. A level 4 airbase isn't a joke. But that's good news then. That's good news. It doesn't take that long to repair. Okay. So I do have this aviation unit over here. I'm going to pick up with the 2 APDs, which I'm going to do quite happily. So I can carry the Koi, which we'll do. There we go. Now I could have that move out to Kopang. It might be worthwhile to actually use this to capture some of these bases around here, due to the fact that they actually do have. If I take a look over here, the Koi. Yes, the Koi actually has some SLF. Now, ideally, both APDs would actually pick up the SLF and have some SLF on each boat. I can't guarantee that, but I can guarantee that at least one of them will have some SLF on it. What we might do then is we might use the SLF Koi there with the APDs and move it around, just take these bases in the area. We're not too far from really advancing on Java. That's good news. Okay, they've made it out of the danger zone, which is good news. And they are detected, so he has seen that move in and move out. But this is it. I've been fortunate there. It doesn't seem to have that many engineers over here at Sorabaya. We haven't used that many bombers against the actual base there. We haven't got that many hits, but there, for there to be at least some damage is actually interesting. It suggests that there's probably not as many engineers. And I think really what we need now is we need to be able to shut down Batavia. If I can hit Batavia's airfield, then that's good news. We're not too far away from Benkelin. I mean, we've got 2 days march to this position here, so we're about 4 days away from Benkelin. Arriving at Benkelin, that is. About 5 days, so about 5 days' time, we'll actually be attacking Benkelin. So by the 11th of January, we'll be attacking Benkelin. I'm hoping before that point I can actually start to get assets moving here. And the good thing is that... Wow, that's a lot of fuel. Oosthaven... Jesus, that's a lot of fuel. What we might in fact do here... We do have some options, and what I might in fact do is take... possibly the destroyers, perhaps, or... Well, it depends, really. The destroyers are pretty low risk because they are pretty maneuverable. But I think what we could potentially do is bring the destroyers into Oosthaven and actually have them refuel. Evidently, we can try and keep the float to the top. But actually having Oosthaven is so important for us, really. It makes such a big difference because it gives us a base there that I can actually use, which is very handy. Okay, Yokosuka is on the rail line, which is good. And I can actually have them moved over here to Lahat, which is excellent news. So, they've got 184 miles. It's going to probably take them 2 days to arrive at this position. Another 2 days likely to offload. There's a question as to whether it's worthwhile offloading them. See, another consideration is actually, I might want to have them... So that is 61 assault value. See, I could potentially have as a consideration, it would require putting them in combat mode. But it might be a consideration to have like fast transport in mind with the forces over here. But I don't think that's really a terribly good idea. We know there's forces of it. I think, yeah, we're seeing forces of Padang. Padang is level, oh, that's jungle rough. Sibolga is jungle rough as well, which is not ideal. I don't have enough assault bound to take Sabang. Yes. But at least we do have fuel within range, which is good news. I could always move into there in the worst case situation. What size is the port there? So it is a size 3 port actually. That's not bad. I think that would have us protected from submarines. I mean that might be the exit strategy there really. That might genuinely be the exit strategy. We're not that far from Osthaven now. Osthaven. Yeah, it's risky because obviously there's going to be aircraft in that area, but it's one of those when I could probably cover that. But we'll see. Benkelin's not too bad. Benkelin's obviously it's only a level 1 base, but it would allow us to actually refuel. Yeah, we'll see. We've got options. I mean, this is a good thing. We do have options. It's not as bad as it seems, really. So if I take a look over here, then still got the DMSs. Right. They're not too far out now. We do see a actual submarine over here or someone in there. He's probably doing some patrols over here, really. Yeah. Looks like we have a lot more aviation. Yep, that's a lot more aviation support moving into the area as well. And that's really what we wanted there. We've been kind of bereft of actual aviation support in this area. But once we actually get that, then it's really good. We're in a much better position. We've been able to repair the damage over here in Makassar, which is good. Had he potentially kept on that B-17 campaign, that could have been interesting. It could have caused quite a bit of damage, but this is it. He saw that there was resistance. He obviously did lose some B-17s for his troubles and really didn't impact that much. So it's one of those that he could potentially have caused greater damage, but it would have cost him a lot. He doesn't get many B-17s, so it's not really worthwhile for that sort of thing. It doesn't really do much for him. Okay. I think I should have some more patrol boats here soon. Okay, 4 more days we'll have some more patrol boats. The Kiso E class, which is good news. Just having small patrol boats in this area. Small, low-value patrol boats is handy. Okay. Yeah, things are just... Yeah, we're just getting to that point now. We've had a few days of peace, which is nice. It's been a while since we had those, so I'm quite happy about that. See, these buggers won't repair, will they, without aviation support? So I've buggered myself there. I'll have to get some aviation support in there. Yes, okay. I'll get some aviation support in the near future. That might be worthwhile to move them from Jolo. Yeah, I'll move these guys to Jolo. I'll get those aircraft out from Jolo and we can go ahead and pick up these bases. I will have forces. I could even potentially take some of the naval guard over here and actually have them use that task. There's a lot of options, but I do want to actually take control of these bases in the area pretty quickly. Right, okay. We do have our AKEs over here as well. And we have been draining supply from Saipan, which is not ideal. You don't really want to take it from the periphery. You want to take it from the core, really. But having some is useful enough. Yeah, there's plenty of AKs here. These guys actually do have some supply, which is nice. Yeah. They've got supply as well. That's good news. Plenty of AKs. We're going to have a good ability to rearm, which is excellent. I probably have too many in this area, but what we'll do then is we'll have them passed around as we need to. I think regarding the BBs over here at Valdwarm, that's going to be an interesting one. And we do have a decent little flotilla over there. I think it could be... I think probably the wisest situation would be to bring them... Well, wisest probability... Well, I'm talking out of my arse here. The wisest situation probably would be to bring them down to the Java Sea, to have them escort the landing forces. At least with the BBs, we'd be able to weather most threats there. But yeah, I think we need to get some more reconnaissance in that area. I might buy out another reconnaissance squadron from China, get that moved out. We just need to know what's going on, really. But we are getting to the point now where we have more and more intelligence, which is good. But being able to see like all the airfields on Java would be really would be awesome. So it's like right now we've really no idea what the true threat is in Java. Yeah. So I think we'll go ahead and leave it here. There's really not that much else I can talk about. So what I'll do then is go ahead and get working on a summary turn. Likely be on that, finishing that probably tomorrow or the day after. I do need to finish the THG turn. But there we go. So it's been pretty awesome, in fact. I thought it might have been busier. But hey, I'm going to work with that. I don't mind it. Yeah, exactly. So we can never have enough intelligence. Never enough. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and say a big thank you to my patrons and to all of you who are watching, my loyal viewers. You guys are awesome. Right, so a big thank you here to Mr. Alex Dungeon Gravy, Mr. Baines, BLeAcHACiD, Deepicduck, Dingobat4, Eric Wild, Erkkijuusto, Fon4123, George Kilgore, Gregory VanHouten, Iceycrome, Imperator Thrawn, James Lindsay, K.O. Lord Luba, Ove, Cato Borsheim, Paradigm Blue, Paul Sanders, Raphael, Rick Chambers, Ricky Blinson, Spacht, Stanislav, SunYan, Suzanne and Daniel, Tan1E, The Forgotten, Thunder and Lindholm. Thank you so very much there, guys. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And of course, you, the viewer, are fantastic. So, I have been me. That is XARG. I'm getting slightly better at these outros every now and then. Just inching towards the perfect outro. Well, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening. Hey, there's Azam. Just about to put the outro there. Thank you for coming. You'll be able to catch up on the replay. Until next time, thank you, goodbye. See you later, Alexander. Have a good one, my friend. See you later, guys. Goodbye for now.